was a debate between this and the magazine cover from Daya, but which is quite a hoppy beer. It's a hoppy ale, that one actually, but I feel like it's just a little bit too much and kind of you know, it's good, but you can only really have one of them, and you feel a bit like hopped out after that.
We're in Oxton, near Birkenhead on the Wirral, at Homebrew Bottle Shop. How did you come about starting this bottle shop?
Opened in 2013. Was in a little place in Liverpool, School Lane. Was it? It's like a bra shop now, which is strange. But it was inside a coffee shop, which you would never believe it. But it was upstairs, like hidden in the attic. And I was started by my brother. It was quite a small sort of little thing. And then I think about 2015 we brought the shop over the way, and then that's where the main bottle shop started, to be honest. And then in May 2019 we moved in here. Through all that time we've just been evolving, you know, slowly but trying everything, ruining the liver to find out all the best beer, to be honest. Weird and wonderful is kind of what we say, so it's kind of stuff you won't find anywhere else. So try and get stuff you can't get in supermarkets, use sort of obscure suppliers.
And it's led to sort of a chain of
bars?
Yeah, bars.
Yeah, so that's Jack. So Jack used to own this and I took over in May 2019, and then Jack went to work on all the bars, so he's been expanding a lot of them. You know, you got one across the road here in Oxton, one in New Brighton, West Kirby, Hoole and Fradron, I think. And the sort of the same rule applies for them really, so it's sort of stuff you won't find anywhere else, but they've just condensed it even further, turned it into a bar format.
Yeah. And what made you want to start a bottle shop?
I used to work in a brewery before coming to here. I used to work in Brimstitch, the local guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I used to, but I was a bit of the, you know, the strong back sort of thing, just lifting all, lifting all the things. And then, yeah, and then Jack approached me because I was working in here, I think full time a year before that, so I kind of knew everything. I was practically running the place anyway, so he just said, "Do you want to buy it off us?" And I did. Didn't really look back. And yeah, I'm just sort of like always liked beer. Always wanted to run my own sort of business. My beer was just a really good avenue. Well, you know, if you drink a fair bit, you know, might as well do something that you're good at. So I kind of got into sort of a bit more of like exotic flavours and kind of trying more of like whiskey's a very good forte of mine. I really love whiskey and cigars. You know, I only need a high enough. I originally started with beer and kind of always found that like I always had a taste for like all the stuff that everyone would like.
Did you try all the beers before you order them?
We try and get samples of everything. It's not always possible on everything. We have certain people who we trust who always bring us good stuff. So like our German beer is mostly supplied by one fella. So he kind of does literally hundreds of the beers, but we've known him ever since 2014. So it's been a long sort of partnership with him. And a lot of the beers we've the sort of trusted suppliers, but we do end up trying all of them. We end up taking a can, maybe 2 cans a week sort of thing. But over time, you kind of end up getting through everything. And you can kind of tell when, you know, the reaction of like customers and stuff like that. But we try, I'd say we probably try about 70% of the stuff when they come in, sort of thing, within the first week.
How often do you mix up the stock?
Other than the Belgian beer, which has been quite a lot the same, everything moves at a breakneck pace. And I just had a look on my phone. And mostly it's like as soon as everything is gone, we order something completely different, unless it was really, really well received. So we have like a few sort of lagers that we've just had in from Nuremberg, which are absolutely flying out. Everyone loves them, so they're going to stay if we can get them as well. Sometimes stuff just vanishes off the face of the earth and you never find them again, which is a shame because they're often the best beers. Look back about 3 months and practically our craft beer shelf was a completely different, but that's good, you know, it keeps the place sort of vibrant, and every time you come in there's going to be something different.
We've also got some of those obscure German stuff, lager styles.
A lot of people with German beer, they don't come in and buy 6 of one beer, they'll buy 6 different hells, which is great because it kind of like, it allows us to have more of them and to actually sell them. And people kind of like to try stuff from all over the place. Like they go for the obvious, like the Munich ones. Munich Hell is like the most famous. So you got like Jorgestina, Hackersfor, Eyinger. I mean, I could go on for but like people just like to try all of them. And then a lot of people get into the more like multi beers, so like the Marzens, the rock beers, and then people kind of go all over the place. They like the dunkels. I think they like them how they're simultaneously, like dunkels can be quite dark, like quite malty tasting, but also be as light as a lager sometimes. People like that sort of contrast rather than having like a dark stout where it feels like, I think a lot of people get to the end of those sort of drinks, and if it's winter it's fine, but like summer you feel like they're chewing them. It offers a like great variety, and it's ridiculous. I mean, you get from everything from like really light, low percentage beers. Tegernsee do one, which is like it's only 3%. It's like a lager. It's meant to be like a really low percentage spring beer, to something like doppelbocks, which are like 7.8%, 8%. Erdinger Picantis, which I know Erdinger, they're all over the place, they're a bit mainstream, but their Picantis, dark, doppelbock, absolutely fantastic beer, amazing. Bit wheaty, malty, kind of everything you want from a beer like that, but also quite light, like you could finish it, you feel like you've got a full stomach afterwards, which is great, but like a lot of German wheat beers, they do. But yeah.
And you got some quite obscure hoppy beers from America. How do you go about importing them?
American suppliers are like, they turn up, do a few months of trade and they completely vanish again, and then you end up with the same scenario of you know, beer that just disappears. Like we used to get some nice Belgian beaver stuff in, kind of a few sort of really American, I think it was called Sweetwater, or I could completely be botching the name. That was an incredibly hoppy beer. I think it was from, I want to say Alabama, but I could be completely wrong on this one because it's such a while ago, but they are like incredibly hoppy beers, and the breweries there, they're tiny. It's such a shame because America has such a vibrant sort of beer scene, but none of it gets over here. So, because by the time they're big enough to export and, you know, get it over here, not only does it cost quite a lot, but it's often not the best beer because it's been kind of quite mass produced. You know? It's such a shame because I know there is a lot of good American beer out there, like absolutely phenomenal.
Do you keep like an eye on like local breweries?
Yeah, always. Like our most local kind of craft brewery, so that's Glen Affric, which is down by the tunnels. That's only really like a 10-minute sort of drive away. And they even have their own tap room, it's pretty phenomenal. Glen Affric do some really good beers, but they have a huge range. Last I heard, we're looking something between like 30 to 40 beers. Like they even do their own barrel age and stuff down there. They've got Black Lodge as well in Liverpool, which do some pretty incredible stuff. They're pretty good. We have had beer off them at the moment. We're trying to get some more beer off them, but we're still waiting for shelf space to clear up because we have to wait until new shelves are done. I mean, yeah, and there's it is hard to keep track of them. Normally they end up coming to us and they end up going like, oh hi, we're a new brewery, you know, we've got some samples for you. We try them, and then if they're really good, we get them in straight away. It's kind of the plan, but you know, sometimes there are a build-up of sample beers in the fridge, so you end up with like 8 beers that you have to try the weekend. So you know, it's such a terrible job, you know. Someone has to do it, definitely. But no, we kind of, with our craft beer, with the English stuff, we just go for the best really, and we do give preferential treatment to the locals. We will give them a bit more of an extra shot, we'll promote them a bit more, but if they're not that good, we just don't keep them. That's just the way, it's got to roll in here, unfortunately, because, you know, you can't sell bad beer.
Now we move on to the part where you show us the beers that you selected for £10 at your bottle shop.
And there's Sonoma from Track, so that's kind of, I think that's one of their oldest beers they've been doing. Pale ale, but absolutely incredible. One of the best pale ales I've had in the last few years. It's up there, absolutely. It's just light, you know, a little bit of a hop kick to it, but not too much. I've kind of strayed away from intense hoppy IPAs at the moment, just because I find with going into summer, everyone seems to like the light stuff, and I think the kind of age of putting as much hops into everything as you can to blow your taste buds out is sort of waning a little bit.
Let's get it out of the can. This is going to look slightly different to on cask because they mix up the water profile a bit and brew it slightly differently. The can version is slightly more hazy and New Englandy than the cask version.
So it's the one we all rave about. I'm pretty sure in like all the bars as well. We've had it on like key keg, we've had it on cask. Apparently cask, it's absolutely incredible. It's the way to go. But unfortunately we haven't put it across the way in the bar.
Yeah.
I think it's a beer that every craft beer drinker in the UK should definitely try at least once. and yeah, I think 50% of Track's output is Sonoma. So yeah, let's get the aroma. Definitely not as much, definitely a nice sort of hoppy, fruity aroma, tropical fruit, citrus. Let's dive in. Yeah, really nice and light, refreshing and balanced. Yeah, as I said, not too many hoppy flavours, and a nice sort of subtle bitter finish, really. Yeah, good. Yeah, just a lovely, really well crafted pale ale. I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10.
There's the Tegernseer Hells. It's like a really amazing German lager.
This brewery is owned by the Bavarian royal family. It started as a Benedictine monastery and was bought by the King of Bavaria in 1817 and has stayed in the family to this day. It's currently owned by the daughter of the current Duke of Bavaria. Lovely, clean, golden look. Nice frothy head. Nice and carbonated. Standard Helles lager. Let's just take in the aroma. Sweet and malty aromas with a little bit of citrusy sweetness. Let's dive in. Yeah, just a lovely lager. Really clean, really sweet, malty, nicely balanced. Just perfect session beer for a sunny afternoon. I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10.
So I've gone for the Hanalei, which is like a passion fruit IPA from Kona.
Yeah.
I haven't had any of Kona Island's beers, but you do see them around the Longboard Lager and the Big Wave Golden Ale. I've seen them in quite a few pubs around and in quite a few bottle shops, so I'm eager to try this. Let's get it out, bottle into the can.
But no, the Hanalei is a really nice one. It's kind of like, it's good passion fruit at the beginning, but it's actually a bit dry on the end, which is pretty good. So it's, I think it's kind of a little bit of a hoppy, but it's more of a like passion fruit front and centre. But because it's quite dry on the aftertaste, it takes away that sort of, you know, when you have like passion fruit beers and just dead sickly, and you have one, you feel like you could never drink another one again.
I did a bit of research into the brewery, and they own production sites in New Hampshire, Oregon and Colorado, so this probably wasn't brewed in Hawaii. But their new site is focused on sustainability, so they're powered by solar panels and methane. This beer is named after Hanalei Bay, a beach on one of the islands in Hawaii. There's passion fruits, guava and orange in this. Let's dive in. Okay, it's actually quite well balanced. The beer and the fruit adjuncts do work quite well together. You sort of get nice passion fruit notes and then sort of dry bitter finish from the beer, so yeah, it does work quite well. It is nice and drinkable and refreshing, especially on a sunny afternoon. So the adjuncts do work well, so I think it's going to be a better score than I was expecting. I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. Of the three, I'd say the Tegernseer Helles Lager was the pick of the bunch. They're all great, refreshing summer drinks, but that beer is just so clean, so malty, so refreshing, and that's what I just love to be sat with 10 of these in the garden. Absolutely amazing beer. No disrespect to these two.
Yeah, thanks, man. That's alright, cheers mate, thank you very much. Yeah.